Man, I've been getting a lot of flack on YouTube. Everyone's like, "That's a bot." It's like some of these players just aren't. Okay, how should I say this? Some of the players I face, they could be bots, right? Right? That's part of PUBG. But when you're telling me somebody's a bot when I'm shooting at him and he's still running and he's trying to avoid my bullets and he has no idea where I'm at and he's trying to, looks like he's trying to take cover. I don't know. Is that a bot? I don't know. Could it be? Maybe. But I didn't think, you know, there's a particular clip I posted. I don't even remember what the clip was called. And I don't really want to get into it too much because that's just boring for me. But I'm shooting this guy from semi-long range with my scope. And I mentioned in the video, like, adjusting from an 8x, I think it was from an 8x to a 4x scope. I'm like, man, I'm gonna need to adjust, you know, switching magnifications, and then I'm shooting at this guy and he's just running the whole time. And then he tries to cut into warehouses, like off to the side of a warehouse. So in my mind, I'm thinking this guy simply just does not know where I am, and he thinks he might be safe at the side of a warehouse, and then he's gonna try to find me, and then I end up killing him because I'm still in his line of sight. But the guy may have not known that. That's what I perceived. Anyway, I have this comment saying, "You don't have to adjust when you switch magnification. That's not a thing." And he goes, "Also, that was a bot." First of all, you do have to adjust for magnification. And the reason why, from what I understand, is, let's say you have an 8x scope, the perception, right, that you see is the guy's closer to you. So you have to accommodate for the scope giving you a false, you know, it's giving you a false premise that this enemy is a lot closer than they really are, right? So you have to adjust for that. And honestly, if you're a player that doesn't have to adjust when they get to an 8x, a 15x, or a 4x, then you are better than most players, and you are an exception to the rule. And like, if you don't have to adjust, consider yourself lucky. I do. When I go to a 15x, it's a different ball game than when I'm shooting with a 4x. It just is. I don't do as well with the 15x for some reason. It's like there's an adjustment that I have to make, and if there's not an adjustment you have to make, awesome. Like, you are one of the few people, and consider yourself lucky. Let's see what Google says about this, because I know Google has a pretty cool explanation. Let's see, in PUBG, do I have to adjust my shot based on magnification? So here's the Google answer to that, and I find it interesting. So there's a guy that commented. He claimed that you don't have to adjust your shot or your approach using different magnification. I've played this game long enough to know that I get affected by different magnifications. I get affected from when I use a 15x, I just throws me off a little bit. I have to kind of recalibrate my brain. Okay, now if you don't have to do that, you are an exception. And I'm just being honest. Like, I'm not trying to flatter. It's just, you are, period. And that's awesome. Like, good for you. I have to adjust. So here's Google's answers, and you can take it with a grain of salt, right? It's Google. It's not perfect, but I feel like they can't explain it. Google can explain it better than I can, I suppose. So that's why I'm doing this. I've never had to explain myself, because maybe I am crazy. Maybe I was adjusting my shot, and the whole time in my head I didn't have to. Oh, it looks like... Okay, but I can bring up the comment too. I'll read the comment. I just kind of asked Google, in PUBG, do I have to adjust my shot based on magnification? And here's Google's answer. My answer, of course, is like, yeah, I find it, there's a little adjustment, right? I don't know what the adjustment means. I don't know what the calculations are. I don't go that far to like type in equations. Like, it's just not something I want to do. But it says, yes, you have to adjust your shot because PUBG features realistic bullet drop and travel time. Targets further away require you to aim higher. The way you compensate depends on your scope magnification and distance. Yeah, so the key word for me is the way you compensate depends on your scope magnification and distance. Scopes like the 4x, 6x, and 15x feature built-in markings. Line up the top of your target with the hash mark that matches their distance. Using the 400 meter mark for a target 400 meters away. That's like an example. Zeroing distance. You can manually adjust your gun's zeroing distance to follow those 100 meters using your keyboard. Oh, page up, page down. I don't ever do that. I should try that. Consoles. If a target is 300 meters away and you set your 0 to 300 meters, your crosshair will hit exactly on target, meaning no manual aim adjustment is needed. For 1x or 2x scopes, you generally don't need to adjust. Just place the dot directly on the enemy. Yeah, it's close range combat. But essentially, you do, right? You do have to adjust. The markings are a little different, and the magnification for me gives me a different perception of the target. That's just me though, man. I'm not saying everybody's me. But yeah. I just kind of, the title was Switching Scopes Can Ruin Your Aim. That's all I said. That was the title of my video. And it shows me trying to gun down a, and that's a short on YouTube. It's called Switching Scopes Can Ruin Your Aim. But it's posted by me, Tracy TBD. He goes, 1, that's a bot. 2, magnification does not change how much you lead a shot. I mean, I don't know. Let's see, can it change? And I'm genuinely curious, can it change how much you lead a shot? Yeah, I mean, here's the AI overview. Take it for a grain of salt. But it says, yes, magnification absolutely changes how much you need to lead your shots in PUBG, even though the bullets travel at the same speed regardless of what scope you use. Why magnification changes your lead? Because the target appears larger and closer. So again, perception. It's appearing closer on the screen through high magnification. Their movement speed on your screen is also magnified. High magnification. The target moves incredibly fast across your reticle, meaning you have to aim further ahead of them with larger physical movements on your screen. So that makes sense. It's perceived to be so much closer in your scope that, yeah, like theoretically your lead, hypothetically your lead on your shot doesn't change, but you're so zoomed in, you do have to lead them more when you see them so much closer, because in reality they're still, let's say, 400 meters away. And that was kind of my point initially, but I just have a bad, heart. I've never had to explain this before. But like I said, if you can adjust on the fly like that, you are better than most players, and like that's awesome. I think that's great. I wish I was like that. I'm not. It throws me off a little bit. It just does. That's just me though. Let's see, low magnification, the target appears smaller and closer together. They don't cross your visual field as fast, so you need much less lead distance. I mean, that's true, right? But yeah, this is interesting. So adjusting your lead, visual mills, the ticks, marks, and steady lines inside the scope, like the 4x, 8x, are fantastic tools for measuring leads. I never use those though that much. I use them sometimes for judging distance. If a target is sprinting sideways at a distance, many veteran players aim roughly 5 to 7.5 mils, the subtensions of the 4x and 8x cross, ahead of the target, depending on bullet velocity. I guess for me, like when I'm leading a opponent in PUBG, I, you know, over the years just got a feel for it. I don't have to like sit there and stare at the tick marks. Distance, that's a different story. I definitely have to fire a couple shots before I'm like, okay, I'm in the right ballpark. Because yeah, like an opponent can be 400 meters away, and I could think they're 400 meters away. I can be like, I think they're 400 meters. I can use the 400 meter tick line on the scope, and I could still be off. Maybe I'm still short, and I'm like, okay, they are further out than I thought. There you go. I have to adjust my shot accordingly. Maybe they're 450, maybe they're 500. But anyway, that's my rant about that. And I don't know. I guess I'm not annoyed by the comments. The only thing that annoys me on some of the comments are like, that's a bot, and I'm like, okay. And then it gets to a point where it's like, okay, if everybody I'm facing is a bot, then I want to watch you play and win the chicken dinner every single time. Every time, pull out a win, man. I want to see your win ratio on your account, and maybe it is 100% because they're all bots, right? I do quick join. Right? I go to quick join, and then I hit play. I don't select my map unless I really want to play a map. But I do quick join, which puts you in the lobbies that don't need to be filled up as much, right? With AI bots, or not even AI bots, they're just bots. I don't even know if they use AI. They're not the smartest bots. They're not the smartest bots in the shed. That's what I was gonna say. Sharpest bots in the shed. Oh yeah, I kind of replied to that comment though. I just kind of said, yeah, definitely you have to adjust for your scope because the perception is they're closer to you when in fact they're not, right? That's kind of the argument I made for myself. If they reply back, I'll just say, hey, look, if you don't have to, you are better than most players, and I'm not trying to be what is that, facetious? I'm not trying to like throw back shade. I'm just saying, dude, look, if you don't have to, that's amazing. You're in tune with the game. You're in tune in a way that I'm not. But I think in PUBG and in other shooter games, people excel at certain things and people don't excel at certain things. I think I excel at using my terrain to my advantage. I excel at being evasive through enemies. Somehow I get out of some hairy situations. I'm starting to excel at closer range combat and being more strategic about it. I don't excel at immediately finding my range when I'm using a scope. I just don't. And that's just one of my weaknesses that I need to improve on. And if you do excel at that, then hey, like I said, you're better than me, and you're one of the exceptional PUBG players out there, and you should be like, you know, should be happy about that. Because a lot of people do need to adjust when they use different, you know, scope sizes. So that's just the reality. Man, even Google backed me up, okay? And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. I need to do some soul search, do some soul searching.